Hello. I think it looks like I'm live. Let me check real quick here to see. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching the replay, please let us know you're here and what type of replay. Let us know you're watching. I really appreciate you for your time, spending a couple of minutes here with me. Yeah, it looks like we are live, so this is wonderful. I am Rita Lynn, and pardon my voice, I'm getting over strep throat. I've come down with some imbalances here during the holiday week, and so I've been taking care of myself, and I have been taking it easy. I have been relaxing, using a lot of herbal remedies for my throat. I've also gone to the doctor though, and got some antibiotics because I was struggling with the pain in my throat. So now I'm a couple days into the meds and all of my holistic remedies as well, and I'm finding life again. So I decided to continue to get on here and do my work for Sunday Meditate. That is the reason I'm here today. I host a call every Sunday for Sunday Meditate with holistic education and meditation, mindfulness guidance, and a unconditionally loving, supportive community. So if you're here and that resonates with you, thank you for being here. Hello, I see some of you popping on. Thank you so much. Hi, Chastity. So glad to be able to be here today and see you. Thank you. Yeah, so the theme that we have been we've been going through here the last couple of weeks, we have been calling Beyond the Surface. And so today we're going to go a little deeper beyond the surface into the foundation of Sunday Meditate Corp. And, I know that I've shared previously that the support of my friend Kalita Washington, that's who I donate my volunteer work that I do really every day. I work for Sunday Meditate in some way, but especially the support services calls here on Sunday. Really, Kalita Washington is the foundational inspiration for all of this. But what happened before Kalita? Why did Kalita step into my life and support me unconditionally and so lovingly and holistically during that time? What was I really struggling with? And so we're going to go a little deeper beyond the surface today. I checked and everything is good online. If you know anyone that needs holistic support and unconditional loving community, please share this video and I'll get into my story. So why grief support? What's the backstory? What was really the root of my pain that I was dealing with? And what did that really cause my mind to do during that season and during many seasons of my life? So we're going to go all the way back because I've struggled with grief all of my life. Ever since the beginning, ever since I was a child, I have struggled with grief. My birth mom, I'm going to try to get through the story the briefest and best I can without giving you a whole entire book. But my birth mom and dad were only teenagers when they had me. So I was given to my grandparents, and I know, this part of the story is probably very common. My grandparents were in their late 60s, and they did their best to take care of me, Ernest and Lily Zorn. But then they both passed away. My grandfather when I was 5, and my grandmother the week of my 8th birthday. I lost her. And this is the first time I've really been able to tell this story without getting emotional. My grandmother's funeral, I believe I remember it being the week of my birthday, maybe the week after. It was June 1984. This was the mid-'80s. The trauma that left was a huge hole in my heart, in my psyche, in my identity at the time. I didn't know it would affect me the rest of my life. Nobody knew, I'm sure. I was shuffled around lovingly after that. She was the only mother I had known until then. Like I said, my birth mom was very young. And so then I was finally adopted, and that was wonderful. But I really struggled to realize what that was they were doing for me, and that was Minnie and Joe Hernandez. I struggled in school. I continued to struggle socially, mentally. I was in grief. I was grieving every day, every night. I felt abandoned, but I couldn't explain that at the time. So I just cried. There was really no way to know how to process this trauma that I was going through at the time and what exactly it meant, and what exactly would take away the pain. Honestly, there was no therapist there to talk me through this, huge life experience. So I just cried. I cried all the time. I cried myself to sleep. I woke with nightmares. I remember my mama Minnie being there at my bedside when I'd wake up in the middle of the night crying, and she'd be there praying for me in Spanish. And even though I didn't know what she was saying, I knew that it was loving and supportive, and it did bring healing and help to me, simply just to know that somebody was there and that somebody cared. And so thank you, Minnie, for being there for me when it was very difficult. I imagine very difficult to care for me, for a child that's grieving, and that really didn't even want to be there. I just wanted my parents. Where were my parents is just what I was asking. I didn't know. So early on, I began having the thoughts of, what is beyond our body, and where is my mother? Where is my grandmother and grandfather? And where did they go exactly? And, what could be the easiest way to find them? How could I find my parents that have passed away? And can I just go be with them? And what would be, a way to do this? These thoughts came and went my entire life since I was a very young child. What do I do? I didn't know. And so would I talk about it? No, because I didn't know. I didn't understand the thoughts I was even having. I just cried a lot. And so as I grew and aged and found progress, even despite all this in my life, and wonderful seasons of life, during marriages, during having children, I experienced so much bliss in my life, yet still these thoughts would come and go through all of the seasons. Some of the most happiest, joyful seasons of my life still were filled with grief and dysfunction within. And I couldn't understand that. And so I didn't really talk to many people about it. But here's where Kalita stepped in. She was a social worker at the time in Maryland. And apparently she had helped other people go through these thoughts. And so she talked me through it and continued to chat and sit with me through this season. And anytime these thoughts would come back. And so I didn't have to share publicly, and I didn't have to tell, the people in my life that this might scare what exactly was going on in my mind. And I was able to get through and process some of that with her through just an unconditionally loving friend. And through that, I did find the help of a therapist, and got on my journey to meditation. Up until then, it was really just substances that were helping keep these thoughts at bay. And as we know, all substances have side effects. All of them, even the wonderful, beautiful plant-based substances that God has given us, have side effects and aren't recommended for every single human being in the world, such as children. And so I continued praying and meditating and asking, what is the answer then? What completely takes these thoughts away? And I don't know that I have the final answer yet, but I do know that the thoughts have subsided, and that they are at bay at this time, and that I can't really explain that other than all of the things that I'm doing for my routine every day, and this experiences that I've been having that, I will admit that I sense I am going beyond the body now, and that was very mystical to me. And so originally, a few years ago, that inspired me to go to college to learn more about what is going on in my brain, and why do I sense I'm going beyond my body, and why do I come back so peaceful and free and without the thoughts of suicidal ideations. Where did they go? And what is filling me with this beauty and this joy and this just happiness that has no explanation? because a lot of the details and things in my life, those closest to me know, haven't really changed much. I live my life day to day. I have 3 children. There's things I struggle with every day. So it's not that I don't have stress and problems. I do. It's what else am I doing? The best we can explain is I'm meditating more. I'm surrounding myself with an unconditionally loving community. I'm being supported. And I'm learning to love myself. I've learned more of who I am within and what that means and what to prioritize in my life. It's one of the simplest ways to explain it. I've also been getting these kind of thoughts about what is suicidal ideations and where does this come from. And so one of the theories I've learned in my university is that one of the mechanisms in our brain that is a natural human mechanism does call for more. It gives us this drive for more and more and more, but it's not now necessarily just more of anything. It's more of bliss, more of what is good, more of beauty, more of just what is progressive. That's really what the mind is seeking. But in the world we live in, it's easy to reach out and just grab something when we're wanting more. It's easy to just reach out in this world we live in to things. But my theory is that drive for more simply is really the bliss of who we really are within ourselves, the bliss of life itself. This field that maybe is what I'm experiencing in my meditation. This seems to be what we really, really strive for more of subconsciously. And so until we realize this, we will just reach for anything, even death, perhaps, to find more bliss, to find more goodness, to find love, whatever that thought is that we're missing. For every person is very unique. There's not a really way to explain it where everyone is understanding. It's going to be different for everyone, but I do believe and know now. I guess before it was a belief, but now I sense that I know this, that there is a state of being beyond what the typical surface life is, and beyond all of thinking, beyond all feeling even. And, I call this absolute consciousness, just our pure being, our consciousness within the ultimate of who we are and what our life really is. And there's no taking this. There's no doing anything with this. It is infallible. It is indestructible. It is beyond the body. There is no getting rid of this life because it is eternal, infinite within us. And so this is where I'm, kind of the final realization I feel like I've had as far as today goes. Is this all? I don't know. Is this more than I've ever seen before? Yes. Is this the best shelter my soul has ever found for peace and harmony and love and safety? Yes. And what's the best way to explain where I found this? Silence. It's just the simplest, best word that I can find today. That's all I have. And so, for me personally, I do believe God breathes through me. I do believe these messages come from God. I'm not saying everyone has to believe that. I'm not here to convince or convert anyone or anything like that. But if any of this resonates with you and if you find support and love here, I just ask that before the end of today, you give yourself an act of kindness and that you do something for yourself today that shows yourself love and that brings healing to you, because healing really does begin with ourself. My healing begins with me. Your healing begins with you. And I believe this. I know this. I love you very much. And I think that's all I have here today. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. if you know anyone that might need to hear this message and that might need love unconditionally today, please share this video. I love you, Chastity. I love you. I love you, Elijah. Thank you for being here. Yes, this is my approach to life now. And, you know, will it change? I don't know. It might. Everything is ever changing when you look on the surface. But as far as I can see now, when I go beyond, it's always been the same. All these years, it's been the same. And so, yeah, change is on the surface. But when we seek beyond that, there's definitely more. And I love you, and I'm willing to help. If you have questions, more than what I shared, I know there's a lot of part of my journey and story, obviously, that didn't come through here today. If you have questions, please feel free to private message me. I'm an open book. I will answer questions honestly, the way I do with anyone. I'm an open book. So I love you, and I hope to see you next Sunday. And we'll get back into mindfulness and meditation and sharing more of exactly, you know, what you can do where you are to find your mindfulness and to find your inner peace and your inner calm. And yeah, I love you. We'll see you next time.